Shakespeare once said,
it was Shakespeare, right?
Shakespeare. Hey, baby.
Shakespeare once said, we know what we are, but know not what we may be.
This is all me up in here. You handle that.
In other words, what a person knows is limited in comparison to what they don't. The mind is like a parachute. It only works right when it's wide open.
Out of my face. Out of my face. I pay my money like everybody else up in here.
Remember, your feet will be together.
That's Vital Podcast.
Quick, slow.
It's a luxury to wake up and you got the sun peeking into the window and you just feel good. Like, you know you've been rested. You get that good stretch and you're like, yeah, yo, phenomenal. You feel confident. You feel alive. You feel like you could tackle the world. You feel like you could take on whatever comes your way that day. Because here's the thing. No one's confident every single day. No one's confident. You ever seen that chart that shows confidence on a scale? It's like you got confidence on this day. You might have a bit of confidence this day. You might have a bit more on this day. You might have a bit less on this day. You might have supreme confidence on this day. And then following half the confidence you had the day before, a quarter of the confidence the day before, half the confidence again the next day, no confidence at all the day after. We tend to frequent with confidence, but confidence is not something that is 100% sustained every single day across the board. Let me put it like this. Confidence sometimes is like having gas in your gas tank. Like, you feel good when you got a full tank of gas. Confidence and faith, they kind of correlate to a degree. They kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? They're kind of relative. The smallest amount of faith, you can do great things. If you have the smallest amount of confidence, like, that's all you need to get started. You know that quote, you don't have to be great to get started, but you got to get started to be great. All it takes to get started is just a little bit of confidence. Faith and confidence, they kind of mimic one another. They kind of correlate. They kind of go hand in hand. Just like you can increase your faith, you can increase your confidence level. You got a full tank of gas, like, you feel like, yo, we riding today. But if that gas tank ain't full, you're selective about where you go. If your confidence capacity is half depleted or a quarter of the way full on a particular day, you might find yourself making it a point to expend that confident energy selectively in the right places and at the right moment. Same thing with faith. You don't put good faith in garbage. Confidence displayed is just like having faith. Confidence displayed is faith displayed. When you're confident, like when you're supremely confident about something, you know, like you have this absolute surety about yourself, about whatever it is, whatever the stimulus is, whatever it is you're resting your faith in, whatever it is you're resting your confidence in, whatever you're applying that confidence to, like you just know you're going to produce great results. You know things are going to work out in your favor. You know with supreme surety that, yo, nah, I'm doing this. This is going to be the end result. Like, this is going to happen. Yeah, it might take time, but it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. I was cleaning the shed one time. As I'm pulling stuff out, like I'm looking at the shelves being empty now, and I'm like, yo, this could go there. Like, this will perfectly fit there. I'm starting to see all this new shelf space opening up where I can put stuff that wasn't there before there now. But my mental script was, I'm not going to put nothing back inside until I take everything out first. So I took everything out. And as I'm seeing the shelves empty, I'm like, man, this could go on that shelf. Let me just set this up here. I won't have to take that out. And I'm like, nah, let me stick to the script. Let me continue the mission. Let me get it all out first. I wound up getting rid of a bunch of stuff. I had old tools, and I'm looking at them old tools like, man, I remember what job I did. I looked at them tools, like them tools had old energy attached to them, old memories, old spirits. Like, that's old energy, yo. All them old memories, all them old frustrations that as soon as I see the stuff and I think like, yeah, I remember doing that job with that asshole. Old frustration, that's old energy. Like, I don't need that stuff. All them tools got old frustration, old energy attached to them. Let me get rid of that stuff. I had to purge that stuff. Yeah, I was like, man, I got to get this out of my life. And to me, the best cleaning sessions are those that occur in like a spontaneous fashion. Like, you didn't have any intention on cleaning, but you just started by moving one thing. And I'll put this over here right quick. Let me move this over here. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and take this to the shed, since this is something that actually belongs in the shed. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you just stumble into a massive cleaning session, like completely unscripted. And it's crazy how certain actions trigger certain thoughts. Like, brokenness isn't a bad thing. Like, there's always two sides of a coin. There's always two ways to look at everything. Brokenness for some, depending on if you want to look at it from a micro or from a macro standpoint, maybe many. Brokenness for many just means that you've gotten to a point in your life where you feel within yourself it's necessary to deconstruct. Something innately And innately just means it's in your nature. It's natural. You're compelled by it. It's involuntary. You can't help but feel this way. Something innately has caused you to feel like it's necessary to make a change. And in regards to wherever you're being summoned, inclined, this feeling within you that's involuntary that you can't help, wherever this feeling is summoning you to make a change, you just feel it's right to make the change in that area. And as a result, you begin to deconstruct yourself a bit in that area. And similar to how one thought triggers another thought, or cleaning up one little area can snowball into cleaning an entire shed, you might find yourself beginning to detect more areas that can stand improvement in your life. And as a result, you find yourself now deconstructing more areas. In your deconstructing of yourself, you're shedding off old traits, old habits, old beliefs, old ideologies, old philosophies, old indoctrination, giving yourself room to take on some new stuff. It's kind of like that story of the eagle, or the nature of the eagle. The eagle flies around all its life for a long period of time. And at a certain point, the eagle, it's like the eagle has a midlife crisis. The eagle realizes it's gained a lot of extra weight, more feather weight than before. That eagle can't get them feathers up like it used to. And feathers start to weigh that eagle down more and more. This eagle may not necessarily be able to fly with the best of them like it used to. So this eagle goes into an isolation. This eagle flies up to the top of a mountain somewhere and sits there and thinks for a moment like, yo, I gotta make a change. Like, if I don't make a change, I'm gonna die in this state. So the eagle starts to pluck its feathers out one by one, plucking every last one of them feathers out. After the eagle plucks the feathers out, the eagle starts to beat at its talons, the claws, it beats the talons. Like it just completely destroys the talons, all right? Breaks the talons, and then does the same thing to the beak. I mean, just takes that beak and just hits it up against a rock or something hard and just completely severs the beak, like destroys the beak, like it's bloody, it's messy, it's grimy, it's dismantling, it's demeaning. In this state of isolation, not only in this state of isolation, but in this state of existence, this eagle's no longer attractive. No one wants to frick with this eagle, you know what I mean? Like, this eagle's just, the eagle went from bad to worse, essentially. This eagle just looks like a poor lost soul, like a lost cause. But after a while, not too long, but after a little while, the eagle's talons begin to grow back. The eagle's feathers begin to grow back. And the eagle grows back a firm new beak. Nice, solid, proportioned beak. All right, this eagle's beak is looking fabulous. This eagle has gone through its stage of deconstruction, took everything apart. Deconstructing, like, that's real brokenness. You take everything apart and you got all these pieces on the ground. And now you found yourself filtering this stuff through a different lens, through a lens of reason, through a lens of understanding, higher understanding, through a lens of a different perspective because you're at a different point in your life. Maybe through a lens of higher reason, a lens that says, you know what? Yeah, I think I know a lot, but what I know is limited in comparison to what I don't know. And if I be honest with myself, no one really knows it all. Therefore, no one knows enough to be a pessimist about anything. Nothing's truly valid until it's truly tested, because tests truly expose.
You realize within yourself you're only lost because of a lack of knowledge.
And for some, because of a rejection of knowledge, a consistent rejection. You're at a point in your life where it's necessary for an upgrade. Trust the process, trust the process. The process requires brokenness. Brokenness is a prerequisite for wholeness. When you break yourself down, you introspect yourself, you evaluate yourself, you reevaluate yourself, you reconsider things within yourself about yourself. Then you reconstruct yourself with all the correct parts suitable for your design, tailored to your liking, fitting for your vision. Vision, true vision, doesn't randomly get conjured up by you at any moment you randomly choose. When you truly gain a vision, it comes to you by way of divine design. Divine because it just comes to you. It just randomly pops up in your head. Like, you had no clue that thought was going to occur. It just showed up involuntarily. And you only get one piece of it at a time. Like, you get this small little piece of the vision. You get to play out the thought for like a few seconds. I don't know, it's different every time, but You might get a few seconds, you might get a minute of vision, you might get a larger piece or some more pieces at certain times than others. But when it comes, it's real because the design is so immaculate. Like, you can see it so crystal clear in your mind's eye. This immaculate concept, a real vision, just pops up in your head. You don't force yourself to cultivate that vision, but it's possible to stimulate a vision. Create a visualization, for example, looking at, like, if you want to live a certain lifestyle, looking at, seeing images of that lifestyle, constantly going to areas surrounded by that lifestyle, constantly going to, like me, I love the beach, yo. Like, it's something about the beach. It's therapeutic. It's a vibe. It's just bodies and buildings and water, and it's a vibe. And I'm like, this is where I want to live. Like, I want to have me a house on the beach. I want to be able to just walk outside in the backyard. I want to have a pool too. Shoot, that thing might have a glass wall surrounding the balcony with a little gate. You can open the gate, step down a couple steps, you walk out, you're right on the beach, you in the sand. That's what I want. That's the influence for the vision. But the vision, when the vision shows up, the vision might show up randomly when I'm not even thinking about the beach, when I'm just at home chilling, like maybe watching a movie or listening to music or just relaxing on a fall evening, sitting outside, got the fire pit going, and all of a sudden I just see it clear as day. Like, yo, I just seen this house on the beach. I see me walking on this balcony at this house on the beach. It's got a modern look to it. It's a 2-story. I'm on the 2nd floor overlooking the pool on the 1st floor. I see the beach water. I see the sunset. Like, vision, it just comes to you sometimes. Like, you just see random images at random moments. Anyhow, real inspiration comes by way of flow, not force. And flow and meditation essentially are the same thing. You don't chase them, you just attract them, or they attract to you. They naturally occur as a result of a particular state of mind you've allowed yourself to drift into at random moments. The spontaneous cleaning, that spontaneity happens as a result of flow. Like, there was no intention of cleaning. It just happened. You didn't have to be great to get started, but just by having this little idea, this little piece of action, it's like a crank. It's like the training wheels on a bicycle. Your muse occurred in that moment, like the catalyst for phenomenal action. Buddhism teaches that true fulfillment comes from spiritual, not physical connections. Creative thought happens anytime you're thinking in the direction of things coming together. It's creating, it's building, it's moving in syncopation with the rhythm of improving. Faith is like a muscle. It's going to get stronger as you use it. Concurrently, it's also going to get at times weaker as you use it. Not for long, but just like a muscle, overuse can cause stress tears. Sometimes we can worry so much about losing something that we wind up losing it due to unnecessary overmaintenance, smothering, or unintentional mistreatment. Life wants you to win. The problem, though, for many, not what was said, but what was communicated, what was imprinted, what was impressed, what was oppressed, what was indoctrinated, was that life was a losing battle. Just stay in whatever makes you comfortable. There's no winning in life. Not what was literally said, but what was callously communicated at times. There's a word that's formed in our minds at the age of 5. That word is either yes or that word is no. But whatever that word was that was impressed upon you created your notion of life, created ultimately your sense of optimism or pessimism. It's time you choose peace over panic. Never mistake a trauma center for a place of healing. Don't allow a trauma center to be your place of healing. You won't get the proper quality care. Creatures tend to be laxed after they've eaten. Comfort is the disruptor of progress. That's why a great enemy knows that in order to fully attack and overtake his opponents effortlessly, he must subdue their minds. He must lure them into a comfort state. Comfort stops your progress. It's the enemy of success. The enemy knows your character. It studied your movements. It knows how to subdue your mental space. Never be too quick to move. Never rush into battles. There never really needs to be any battles in your life. Although battles can sometimes signify progress.
That's facts, D.
Always consider, though, applying a mild level of comfort. Because comfort is the cornerstone for reason. Comfort comes from peace. Reason gives you peace. Reason gives you comfort. It's a circulatory pattern of emotions. If people have a portrayed persona of you,
Let them have that shit.
You don't bask over the concern of it. A portrayed persona of you doesn't have to be your personal view. A portrayed persona of you does not have to become your personal view. Tension is defined as applied force to something when it's stretched. It's pressure, it's strain, it's stress, constriction, stiffness, rigidity, intensity. No one should be getting attention from you without providing something of value to you. Because if you're not receiving an equal or greater value, you're losing value. And if you're losing value, whoever that individual or that group is that's stealing that value from you is now a liability to you. Recognize the liability and get them the away from you. Not every claimably correct community is the correct community for all individuals across the board. Not every individual within that community is going to come to unity, to a place of reason, some level of common ground where you can agree, or if not, disagree agreeably, reasonably, and respectfully with regards to one another. See, truth can have layers. Truth can be seen from different perspectives, sometimes causing the appearance of truth to seem false, to seem untrue for some, depending on their perspective approach. You do need community to grow. That is absolutely true. But an even deeper truth, peeling back a layer or so, is that you need the right community to grow. You need the right community to grow you in the right way. Proper community will evolve you properly. Recap, we talked about confidence. Confidence is not arrogance. However, there is a thin line between them. Sometimes for some, the thin line in their mind blurs and the two ideas converge, with arrogance appearing or standing out more. Arrogance is overconfidence in the unknown or the assumed known. There's nothing wrong with believing in the assumed known for yourself. That's not arrogance. It's not arrogance if you, in and of yourself, believe in the assumed known. Like, how can you appear arrogant if no one outside you knows what's going on inside of you? It's not arrogance until you present your belief of the assumed known or the truly unknown, for some, being truly honest with yourself, as the standard for all. Arrogance is having this belief that what you believe, maybe even know to be true to you, is the supreme truth for all, and that all should follow that truth as you see that truth. That there is no other way to see that truth. Like, basically, you and I walk into a brand new building. For example, let's just say it's a brand new movie theater. All right, got the nice reclinable seats with the massage chairs and everything. We walk into the same theater, and our perspective of what we see walking into that theater, that's going to represent our truth. That's going to represent truth as it applies to us as individuals. So here we go now. We walk in, and the first thing that you see is the screen. The first thing that I see is them nice reclinable chairs, but your truth supersedes my truth, because you can see, we both see that this is a brand new building with brand new amenities, but now you want only your truth to be seen. You want only that screen to be seen. You believe that that screen should be the first thing noticed in everyone's minds, and that screen should be the only thing talked about. That screen should be the only thing perceivably noticed in others' minds. That their minds naturally should involuntarily gravitate toward that screen, towards truth. Remember, that's the variable we're comparing, in the exact same way you see it. And because they don't, you feel within yourself that you've now been given this autonomy to scoff at them, to subtle spite them, or shit on them.
That, my friend, is arrogance.
Yeah. Arrogance stems from having no reason. Arrogance can stem from having a very low level of reason, but a high level of self-incapability. It could be incapability you possess unknowingly. It could be incapability you possess unaccountably, meaning you've not taken personal inventory of your blind spots. Confidence, on the other hand, is a derivative of competence. It comes from having a reasonable or thorough understanding and being able to give a reasonable account of and for that understanding.
Reason.
Oh, okay, yeah, I can respect that. I never looked at it from that point of view. You know, I may not necessarily agree because I see things naturally differently. Nonetheless, I still respect that. That's reason. But ain't nobody really trying to take time to explain reason in that way, because everyone's too busy trying to make it, trying to survive and trying to get to the top. Reasonably so. The best of you is going to be at the top. But you want to get there in reasonable fashion, so it's real. Reason is real. It has structure. It's got depth. It's crucial for the fulfillment of a truly abundant life. At the crux of it, at the core, if reasonable, explainable reason can be applied, the result is confidence. Confidence is developed through reason, through understanding, through competence, through fully knowing, understanding, and respecting one's own capabilities. It takes time, it takes effort, it's a daily practice, and the results aren't always seen. You frequent with confidence. It's not an everyday thing. It's in you, but it doesn't surface all the time. Life is intended to be lived and learned through. That's the only way you evolve. You live and you learn. You implement and you grow. Growing is evolving. It's mutating. It's getting better, getting renewed, becoming a newer and better version of you. Learn to stand on whatever is true to you. Once a person's mind is expanded with an idea or concept, it can never be satisfied going back to where it was. That's Oliver Wendell Holmes. But it's so true. Once you've been exposed to something new, something greater, it's like a 5-star restaurant. Like once you've been exposed to a 5-star restaurant, once that's become the norm for you, you don't go back to eating Mickey D's. You don't go back to fast food. It's like once you get used to thinking outside the box repeatedly, you don't go back inside the box. Like there's nothing that can compel you to go back inside the box. Unless you want to continue to spiral, unless you want to continue to cycle, unless you want to continue to be the same person you were years prior. Me, I'm not trying to be the same version of myself that I was last year. I enjoyed that chapter while I was in it, but now it's time to move on to the next one. Stop letting people dictate stuff for you. People want to see change, but they only want to see change in a way that still makes them feel comfortable, in a way that they find suitable. Newsflash, you ass. It's called personal development, not externally governed development. To those who love to focus primarily on the development of others, there's an order to the equation. You develop you first, and then the world reflects. Naturally, it's going to happen within first. As your mental perceptors begin to look for something new to feast on, you start gaining new perspective. Change happens when the pain of remaining the same becomes greater than the pain of making a change. You know what causes a person to change sometimes? You know what elicits change in people sometimes? Monotony. Performing the same boring, casual routine. The first thing you'll notice about changing when you begin to elevate yourself is that your perception will take on a new appetite. You'll stop freaking with fast food when you expose yourself to enough real food. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Taste and see. Your perception will become receivable. It will become willing to receive new thoughts, new information, new experiences, new heights. And through that elevated perspective, you'll begin to see things that once weren't there. They were always there, you were just perceptively unaware. It's kind of like the dirt and grime that resides in certain spots in a home. Going back to the cleaning, deep cleaning is like deep construction, like deep cleaning, true deep cleaning. Like I recently cleaned the bathroom. Deep cleaning, taking everything out the cabinet. And see, the way my mind works is like, again, once you see it, you can't unsee it. So I'm up here cleaning the whole toilet area. I'm taking the air vent out, the fan. I'm talking about the fan that sits above where the toilet sits in the ceiling. I take the fan out, clean out the fan, clean all the dust out the air vent. I'm talking about taking the shower heads off. I damn near took the whole toilet out, replaced the wax ring just to clean under the toilet, like deep cleaning. I didn't do all that, but I almost did. Deep cleaning, taking everything out the cabinets, all right, fully exposing every area of that particular space that's being cleaned. Deep cleaning is like deep construction. It's like deconstructing. It's like you start to notice things within you. You start to notice things within that space that were always there, but they were hidden. And now they're being uncovered and discovered and exposed. And as you do that, you start to notice things within yourself. Like that mental training of deep cleaning, of uncovering, of discovering. How you do anything is how you do everything. It starts to play out psychologically within you, unbeknownst to you. You start thinking while you're deep cleaning, like, yo, you know what? Putting 2 and 2 together. Revisiting scenarios like, yo, you know what? Nah, that math wasn't mathing, yo. Thinking back to this scenario, thinking back to this. Hold up, that math ain't mathing. And you start to realize stuff. You start to mentally clean stuff up as you begin to physically clean things up in your life. Cleaning a home, that's a house project within itself. Because each area of that home to deep clean, you're gonna be there for a few days. Like it's not It's not a one-day project. Not in today's society. Nah, absolutely not. People got to go to work. Yeah. See, my bathroom's got a closet within it. So within the bathroom, now there's also the closet to clean. Following that same cleaning fashion, take everything out, expose everything, decide what's necessary to go back in, what's not necessary, wipe the ceiling, wipe the walls, remove any dust whatsoever, get the floors immaculate, little sage, little Palo Santo up in there to get it. It's true what they used to say. They said, yo, this type of work develops character. It really does, because it develops patience, it develops awareness, it develops truth. It develops within you a deeper level of truth. Like, you gotta be honest with yourself every time you see the dust. Like, yo, you know what? Yeah, if I be honest, I cleaned out the cabinets and everything, but I gotta organize this stuff. Some of this stuff I can get rid of. Some of this stuff I ain't touched in 5 years, I can get rid of it. This clipper case, yeah, I could go ahead and clean the inside of this case out, clean out all the hair, clean out these boxes, whatever's inside of them. They got dust, I can clean all that. Like, there's so many layers when you start to deep clean in just one singular area beneath surface level. And when you start cleaning beneath surface level, you start thinking beyond surface level naturally. So everything follows suit. Now you might want to change your diet. Now it's like, you know what, if I be honest with myself, I've been eating some trash. Similar to being honest with myself about the areas that can stay in cleaning, the areas that can stay in improvement. Like, I've been eating like trash. I need to clean up what I eat. I could stand to go for a run or get a workout in. I could, instead of complaining about it. Because that's what a lot of people do. They sit there and complain. Meanwhile, they got this big old mess that's sitting there that could be cleaned at any point in time. And they sitting there complaining about everyone else and everything else, instead of focusing on themselves and where they themselves can stand to improve in their own lives. Like, when you focus on yourself, you're going to disappear from society. When you really hone in and truly focus on yourself, you're going to disappear from society, because it takes time to deeply clean self.